Caseus. Dawn of War. Chapter 5. As Sindralig led the two Padawans down the side of the hill, Caseus looked around at the landscape. If there was ever a place a creature like a hut could call home, this was most definitely it. The air had a muggy, unpleasant smell to it that Caseus could only assume was to the residents of Nal Hutta what a fresh spring air was to him. Reaching the bottom of the hill, Master Dralig looked at his datapad and pointed to a large series of rock formations bordering the town.
If these readings are correct, your master's ship is hidden away in those rocks. Let's move, and remember to stay close.
The Jedi put their hoods up and started walking through the uneven terrain, stepping in puddles of mud and grime and nearly tripping over deep roots sticking from the ground.
I'm already sick of this place.
Once we find Master Takai, we can leave.
Caseus looked up at the sky. The gray clouds above veiled the sun, but Caseus estimated it must be approximately midday. If this is what the planet was like during the day, he'd hate to be around in the evening. As they reached the rock formation, they began to hike their way up. Grabbing onto a rock, Sarah nearly lost her footing as a winged serpentine creature flew out of a hole in the rock wall.
What was that?
Indigenous species. Count yourself lucky. They typically steer clear of intruders. Good thing, too. Their bites can be lethal.
Oh, lovely.
Keep moving. We're almost there.
The three of them soon made it to level ground, surrounded by walls of jagged stone with a narrow pathway leading through.
The scanners say that his ship is on the other side of this pathway. Be careful. I sense we may not be alone.
Okay, let's hurry then. Navigating their way through the rocks and across the dirt pathway, they soon came to an open clearing. There in the open, concealed on all sides by walls of stone, was Master Takai's shuttle. Master Dralig was right. They weren't alone. A few unsavory-looking people were busy ransacking parts of the ship, two of them holding blaster rifles, guarding the entrance ramp.
Scavengers.
And Master Takai is nowhere in sight. What do we do?
Stay close. Let me handle this.
Master Dralig stepped out from behind the rocks as the two armed scavengers took notice and aimed their rifles.
Not a step further, Slimo.
You should know it's not wise to steal Jedi property.
What's it to you, old man? We found this ship abandoned. It's ours now.
Perhaps you'd be so kind as to inform me to the whereabouts of the previous owner.
We don't know anything about it. Now, turn around and go back the way you came before this gets ugly.
Two more scavengers exited the shuttle and aimed their weapons.
Must it always come to violence? Is there no chance we can discuss this like civilized beings?
The scavengers cocked their weapons and prepared to fire.
Very well.
In a blindingly fast motion, Master Dralig drew his lightsaber.
Jedi! Kill him!
The scavengers fired as Master Dralig calmly deflected each blast with minimal effort.
Your skills need work, my friends. Or perhaps your weapons are faulty. Here.
In one swift motion, the temple swordsman pulled all four rifles from their hands and sliced them in half with a single strike.
Now then, perhaps you'd care to reconsider your options. You can stand down and tell me what I want to know, or things will get much uglier.
Sarah and Caseus watched from the rocks. He was incredible. No fear whatsoever. One of the scavengers removed a metal spear from his back and pointed it at the old master.
A spear? Credit for originality, I suppose. I'll tell you what.
Master Dralig tossed aside his lightsaber, which Sarah caught from behind the rocks.
Face me, man to man. I'll use nothing but my own skill.
You're insane.
What's wrong? Afraid of an old man?
The scavengers talked amongst themselves before the largest of the group stepped in front of Master Dralig. Caseus and Sarah watched with wide eyes.
Shall we begin?
The scavenger let out a fierce battle cry and swung his weapon at Master Dralig, who flipped backwards, landing on a tall rock, evading the strike as though it were in slow motion.
Come down here and fight like a man!
If you insist.
Master Dralig leapt from the rock and landed behind the terrified scavenger, who attempted another strike, only for the aged master to grab the spear by the shaft and disarm the wannabe warrior. knocking him in the face with the bottom of the spear and bringing him to his knees.
Now then, are you going to cooperate? Or am I going to have to get serious?
You Jedi are all the same. You think you have it all figured out. But you know nothing of the true dangers of the galaxy. You live safe and secure in your grand temple while people like us have to scrounge to survive.
As the scavenger spoke, Caseus noticed one of his crew was slowly reaching behind his back.
Your arrogance and your complacency will be your downfall.
The other scavenger quickly removed a small blaster and fired a shot at Master Drolic, which grazed him in the shoulder. Caseus had seen enough. Leaping into the fray, he quickly closed his eyes and set out a force repulse that knocked the scavengers onto their backs before drawing his saber and grabbing the cowardly scum by his shirt, holding his lightsaber inches from his face.
Drawing a weapon on a man when his back is turned? You coward! Caseus, drop him.
Caseus looked back at Master Drolic and glared at the terrified scavenger, throwing him to the dirt. Master Drolic drew his weapon and pointed it at the downed thieves.
The time for peaceful negotiation has ended. You will tell us what we want to know. If you don't, you'll find yourselves in more trouble than you can handle.
We don't know anything, we swear.
You're lying.
I'm not. Look, we found the shuttle here abandoned on our patrol. We looked inside for the owner, but they weren't here.
And where might we find them?
The town. 3 miles that way. Look for Taboo. If anyone knows where to find your friend, it's him. That's all I know.
There. Was that so hard? Now, you are to leave this ship. Be on your way. And pray that we don't cross paths again. Be off!
Quickly, the thieves ran to their speeders and fled.
Caseus, you must control your anger. Intimidation is one thing, but you came very close to crossing a line a Jedi should never cross.
Maybe he deserved it.
Perhaps he did. But that is not your decision to make. Be mindful of your emotions, Caseus. They can fail the best of the Jedi.
Caseus sighed deeply and walked into the ship, investigating the damage as Sarah surveyed the exterior.
Looks like they salvaged parts from the hull. This thing won't be in any shape to fly.
It's not gonna fly at all. They salvaged parts from the hyperdrive. We'll have to get her home on our ship. Let's head into town and find this Taboo.
Master, your shoulder.
It's a slight graze. I'll be fine.
Caseus walked out and joined his companions.
There's a speeder over there. Looks like those scavengers left it. It's a bit small, but I think we can all fit.
Very well. I'll take the controls. When we get to town, we'll head to the bar. We're bound to find some information on this Taboo there.
Master Drolic sat in the front seat. Sarah and Caseus sat in the cargo space in the back. It was cramped, but they wouldn't be there long. Starting up the speeder, Drolic sped down the pathway taken by the scavengers and towards the town.
That was pretty impressive, Caseus.
What do you mean?
You figured out the repulse technique. Even I haven't gotten it down yet.
I guess so. It just kind of happened. I wasn't really thinking about it.
Do you think Master Takai might be in town?
I don't know. If she is, we'll find her. If not, we'll have to find this Taboo and see what he knows. As the speeder swerved to avoid a ditch, Sarah and Caseus were jostled and hit their heads together. Rubbing his forehead, Caseus looked at Sarah, a few inches from his face. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept well in a little while. Her eyes met his.
You okay?
Huh? Yeah. It's just... you look exhausted. Is everything okay?
I'm fine. I just didn't sleep well the other night.
Any particular reason?
I don't know. Look, I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me, okay? Just drop it.
Okay. Sorry. Caseus was slightly taken aback at her blunt remark, but he didn't think on it too long as they soon reached the town. Parking the speeder behind some trees, they stepped out and began walking towards the entrance.
We'll leave the speeder here for now. Let's head to the cantina and see what we can find out.
As they walked through the street, Caseus had serious déjà vu. This place reminded him of their visit to level 1313. It didn't look like any place for respectable merchants or politicians. He wouldn't be surprised if there was a spice operation running in this place. Master Drolig spoke with a local and asked about the cantina. They were pointed towards what looked like a large tent set up in the center of town.
That's the place. Let's go.
There was no door guard there. Caseus guessed they didn't care who was getting their drinks here. As they stepped inside, they found the place crawling with scoundrels, farmers, and weary travelers stopping for refreshment.
Find a seat. I'll talk to the bartender.
The two Padawans walked to the back of the cantina and sat at a table. A service droid rolled over and brought them water in 2 tarnished metal cups. This certainly looks like the kind of place to find information on a kidnapping.
I've been meaning to ask. What if, Master Takai is...
She's not. Caseus cut her off bluntly. I would have sensed it. She's alive. I know it.
Okay.
Master Drolig soon walked over holding a drink and sat down. Well,
I spoke to the bartender. Tabu is the owner of this establishment. He will be with us shortly.
As he sipped his water, Caseus looked around. If this Tabu knew where she was, they'd be one step closer to getting his master off this planet. Suddenly, a large Ithorian walked over to their table and sat down.
You must be Tabu.
No.
Caseus looked down and saw a small, gray-skinned alien of the Alina species standing next to the Ithorian.
I'm Tabu.
The Ithorian lifted Tabu onto the table as he adjusted his goggles and took a draw from a long silver pipe, blowing a ring of smoke into Sarah's face, much to her annoyance.
I'm to be told you are looking for someone, correct?
Yes, we are looking for a Jedi. She sent out a distress signal this morning, and we heard nothing else.
What would a Jedi be doing out in these parts? This sector is controlled by the mighty Hutts. You have no jurisdiction out here.
She wasn't here under Republic orders. It was strictly Jedi business. She was investigating a person of interest who was involved in an attack on our temple. We need any information you can give us.
Of course you do. Everyone wants something. But that something is rarely free of charge.
We have plenty of credits and will compensate you for your services.
Credits are of no importance to me.
Then what do you want?
Something of a more materialistic nature. You see, I'm a collector of rare antiquities and items not seen every day.
We don't have much, but if you help us, there is a Jedi shuttle in the waste not far from here. You can take that if you wish.
A shuttle? Now that is tempting, but not enough.
Tabu looked at Sarah, who stared back uncomfortably.
That braid in your hair. I want that.
Caseus clenched his fists. That braid is a sacred symbol to us.
Exactly. Its value is its worth to you. I'm very aware of what it signifies. A Padawan's ascension to knighthood is complete when it is cut.
You overstep your boundaries, my friend.
Oh well. Far be it from me to waste your time. I'm sure you can find the information you seek on your own.
Sarah took a knife from the table and quickly cut the braid, as Caseus stared at her, shocked.
Take it. And tell us what we need to know.
The creature took the braid in his hand and examined it before putting it in his pocket.
A Jedi was seen in this town the other day. She was looking for someone. Unfortunately for her, it seems someone found her first.
Who?
Can't say for certain. But a group of men were seen tailing after her when she left.
Which way did they go?
East. The closest settlement out there is the palace of Jakashunto.
Jakashunto?
A long-dead Hutt lord from the days of the Old Republic. His palace has long been used as a stronghold for pirates, spice runners, and other scum.
Where do we find it?
Head east through the Badlands until you reach Takuya Canyon. You'll know it when you see it.
Thank you. We'll be on our way.
Sarah looked at the alien with a fierce look of disgust.
A pleasure doing business with you, my dear.
Come. We'll return to the ship and go from there.
Leaving the cantina, they walked through the town back to their speeder and began the ride back to their ship. Sarah was quiet, not making eye contact with either Caseus or her master. I'm sorry, Sarah. I know—
It's fine. I did what I needed to do. Let's just find your master and get off this rock.
Caseus nodded and kept his mouth shut. He felt it would be best to leave her alone for now. After a while, they reached the ship they had arrived in. R3 was working on the ship when he turned and saw them. Hey, R3. Get the ship ready. We have a lead.